Your gear is lying to you. You spend $3,000 on premium gear, full leathers, top-shelf helmet, armored everything. Then you slide down the highway at 50 miles per hour and still end up in the trauma ward looking like you went through a meat grinder. What went wrong? Here's the brutal truth that gear companies don't want you to know. Crash test data from the Snell Memorial Foundation shows that 40% of gear failures happen not because the equipment is bad, but because riders wear it wrong. Your expensive gear isn't protecting you. It's giving you false confidence while setting you up for disaster. Independent testing labs have documented thousands of cases where premium helmets rotated during impact, where CE-rated armor shifted away from vital areas, and where $1,000 jackets failed because riders never learned how to wear them properly. These aren't manufacturing defects. These are user errors that turn life-saving equipment into expensive decorations. Today, we're breaking down the 7 gear mistakes that kill riders every single day. These aren't rookie errors either. The Highway Loss Data Institute found that experienced riders with over 10 years of riding make these same deadly mistakes at nearly the same rate as beginners. Your gear knowledge might be killing you, and you don't even know it. Mistake 1. The fit fallacy, helmets that kill. Here's the crash test data that'll wake you up. The European Helmet Testing Consortium analyzed over 2,000 helmet failures and found something terrifying. 40% of all helmet failures happen not from impact force, but from improper fit. That premium shoey or awry you're wearing, if it doesn't fit your specific head shape, it becomes a projectile waiting to launch off your skull. Dr. James Newman, who spent 30 years testing helmets at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, puts it this way: a loose helmet is worse than no helmet because it gives you false confidence while providing zero protection. When your head hits the pavement, physics takes over. A properly fitted helmet rotates with your skull, distributing impact forces across the entire shell. A loose helmet rotates independently, exposing your face and the base of your skull to direct impact. The rotation problem is everywhere, and most riders have no idea it's happening. Testing data shows that helmets just one size too large will rotate up to 15 degrees during a typical low-side crash. That 15 degrees is the difference between walking away and facial reconstruction surgery. Your cheekbones weren't designed to absorb 60 miles per hour of asphalt impact. Here's what kills me about this mistake. Riders obsess over helmet ratings and safety certifications, then completely ignore the one factor that determines whether any of that testing matters: fit. They'll spend hours researching sharp ratings and Snell standards, then walk into a store and buy whatever feels comfortable after 30 seconds on their head. The comfort trap is real, and it's deadly. Helmet manufacturers design their padding to break in over the first few weeks of use. Those cheek pads that feel snug in the store, they're supposed to feel snug. Testing labs use a specific compression measurement. The helmet should be tight enough that you can barely slide a finger between the padding and your skin. If it feels comfortable immediately, it's already too big. The squeeze test that could save your life takes 30 seconds. Put the helmet on and fasten the chin strap. Now try to pull it off without unfastening anything. If it comes off, or if you can rotate it more than a few millimeters in any direction, you're wearing a decoration, not protection. Your skin should move with the helmet when you try to shift it around. Different manufacturers build helmets for different head shapes. Awry tends to fit rounder heads. Shoey works better for oval head shapes. Bell and HJC have their own geometry. You can't just grab your size off the shelf and assume it'll work. Head shape matters more than head size, and getting it wrong turns your helmet into a liability. Mistake 2. Armor in all the wrong places. This one's going to shock you. Independent crash analysis from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation found that CE-rated armor fails to protect riders 60% of the time. Not because the armor is defective, but because it's positioned wrong when impact happens. That back protector you're wearing, if it shifts 3 inches during your crash, it's protecting your lower ribs while your spine takes the hit. Here's the reality most riders never consider. Armor positioning changes dramatically between your normal riding position and crash position. When you're upright on the bike, that shoulder armor sits perfectly over your shoulder joint. But when you're sliding down the asphalt, your body contorts in ways the armor wasn't designed for. Your shoulder blade becomes exposed while the armor protects empty air. Dr. Dietmar Otte, who's analyzed over 40,000 motorcycle crashes in Germany, identified the most commonly missed impact zones. Shoulder blades take direct hits in 70% of high-side crashes, but most jacket armor sits too high to cover them. The tailbone and lower spine absorb massive impact in low-side crashes, but most back protectors end 4 inches too high. Forearms get shredded in every type of crash, but most riders only have elbow armor. The movement test reveals everything. Put your gear on and get into your riding position. Crouch forward, arms extended, knees bent. Now have someone mark where your armor sits. Next, lie on your side in a crash position with your arms out front. Check where the armor moved. I guarantee you'll find gaps that weren't there before. Velcro attachment systems are the worst offenders here. Testing data shows that 80% of Velcro-attached armor detaches during the first 3 seconds of a slide, exactly when you need it most. The forces involved in a motorcycle crash generate thousands of pounds of stress. That little Velcro patch holding your shoulder armor in place, it's designed to hold maybe 20 pounds of static weight. The simple positioning check takes 5 minutes and could save your spine. Put your gear on and get someone to help you verify armor placement in both riding and crash positions. If your armor moves more than an inch in any direction, you need better retention systems or different gear entirely. Mistake 3, maintenance meltdown, when good gear goes bad. Here's the maintenance reality that'll terrify you. Laboratory testing from the University of Southern California's Helmet Research Lab shows that UV exposure degrades helmet foam by 30% in just 2 years, even if you never crash. That garage where you store your helmet, if it gets hot, you're literally cooking the protection out of your equipment. The EPS foam that's supposed to save your brain starts breaking down the moment it hits 90 degrees. Dr. George Snively, who developed modern helmet testing standards, documented how heat destroys protective materials from the inside out. Your helmet's outer shell might look perfect, but the foam liner inside becomes brittle and useless. It's like having a hard candy shell around cotton candy. Impressive on the outside, worthless when you need it. The invisible killer is storage damage that riders never see coming. Testing data shows that helmets stored in direct sunlight lose 40% of their impact absorption within 18 months. Garages, car trunks, and bike storage compartments regularly hit temperatures that destroy foam integrity. Your premium helmet becomes an expensive hat that'll split like an eggshell in a crash. Leather gear faces its own maintenance nightmare. Untreated leather exposed to road salt and UV light becomes as protective as cardboard. Crash testing at the Motorcycle Industry Council found that neglected leather tears like tissue paper at crash speeds. The same leather that would have provided excellent protection if properly maintained. The oils that keep leather flexible and tear-resistant evaporate over time, leaving behind brittle material that fails on first contact with asphalt. Here's the zipper failure data that should wake you up. The Protective Equipment Research Group found that 80% of jacket failures start with corroded or damaged zippers. When your jacket can't stay closed during a crash, all that expensive armor and abrasion resistance becomes meaningless. Road salt, sweat, and dirt work together to destroy zipper mechanisms, and most riders never clean or lubricate them until they fail completely. The 5-minute maintenance routine that saves lives starts with proper storage. Keep helmets in cool, dry places away from direct sunlight. Clean them regularly with mild soap. Harsh chemicals destroy the shell materials. Check the EPS liner for cracks or compression damage every few months. If you can dent the foam with light finger pressure, it's time for replacement. Leather needs conditioning every 3 months minimum, more if you ride in harsh conditions. Use products specifically designed for motorcycle leather. Shoe conditioners don't have the right properties for crash protection. Clean salt and road grime off immediately after riding. Neglect this, and your $1,000 jacket becomes expensive decoration. Zipper maintenance takes 30 seconds per ride. Wipe them clean, check for damage, and lubricate with appropriate products monthly. A failed zipper turns your protective jacket into a cape that'll fly open the moment you hit the ground. Mistake 4. The comfort compromise, gear you won't wear. Usage statistics from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation reveal the uncomfortable truth. Riders wear uncomfortable gear only 40% of the time. That race-spec jacket that makes you feel like a medieval knight? You'll find excuses to leave it home for short trips, grocery runs, and quick commutes. And those short trips are where 70% of motorcycle accidents happen. The workflow trap kills more riders than defective gear. If your equipment takes more than 5 minutes to put on properly, psychological studies show you'll eventually stop wearing it consistently. That's the brutal math of human behavior. Inconvenience always wins over good intentions. Your brain starts calculating risk versus hassle, and hassle usually wins until it's too late. Dr. Patricia Waller, who studied motorcycle safety behavior for 3 decades, documented the psychology of gear avoidance. Riders develop elaborate justifications for skipping protection. It's just a quick trip. I'm only going 10 minutes away. Nothing ever happens in my neighborhood. Meanwhile, crash data shows that distance and trip duration have zero correlation with accident severity. Real crash analysis from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration tells the story. The worst injuries happen on familiar routes during routine trips. Riders drop their guard, skip their gear, and get blindsided by the unexpected. That car that pulls out in front of you doesn't care if you're wearing full leathers or flip-flops. The asphalt will treat you the same either way. The temperature problem destroys concentration and creates deadly situations. Overheating in heavy gear leads to dehydration, fatigue, and slower reaction times. Freezing in inadequate gear makes your muscles stiff and reduces fine motor control. Both conditions increase crash risk while reducing your ability to survive impact. Testing data shows that core body temperature changes of just 3 degrees significantly impact riding performance. Overheated riders make 20% more steering errors and have 30% slower emergency response times. Cold riders struggle with throttle and brake control, increasing stopping distances and reducing cornering precision. Smart compromises maintain protection while improving usability. Modular gear with removable liners adapts to conditions. Mesh panels provide airflow without sacrificing abrasion resistance. Quick release systems reduce setup time. The key is finding equipment that works with your actual riding patterns, not your fantasy riding goals. The comfort equation is simple. Gear you wear consistently protects more than perfect gear you leave at home. A lighter jacket you put on every single ride provides more protection than heavy armor sitting in your closet. Find the balance that keeps you protected and keeps you riding safely. Mistake 5. Buying for fantasy, not reality track gear. Failure rates in street crashes will blow your mind. The Motorcycle Safety Foundation analyzed crash data from riders wearing race-spec equipment on public roads and found something disturbing. Track-optimized gear fails to protect riders 30% more often in street crashes compared to crashes at racing speeds. Why? Because race gear is designed for specific impact patterns that don't match real-world accidents. Here's the brutal reality. That full race suit you bought after watching MotoGP, it's engineered for high-side crashes at triple-digit speeds with predictable slide patterns on smooth asphalt. Street crashes happen at lower speeds with random impact angles on surfaces covered with gravel, oil, and debris. Your race leathers that would survive a 120 miles per hour track crash can shred completely in a 35 miles per hour street low side because they weren't designed for that type of impact. The aspiration trap catches experienced riders more than beginners. You imagine yourself carving canyons at knee-dragging speeds, so you buy gear designed for that fantasy. But your actual riding is commuting through traffic and weekend grocery runs. That track spec equipment becomes a liability because it's optimized for conditions you never encounter. Dr. Harry Hurt, whose motorcycle accident research shaped modern safety standards, documented how gear optimization creates protection gaps. Racing boots designed for aggressive riding positions make it impossible to walk normally through parking lots or make emergency foot-down saves in traffic. The rigid construction that protects against track crashes prevents the flexibility needed for street riding situations. Boot flexibility testing reveals the problem. Racing boots reduce ankle mobility by up to 60% compared to touring boots. That might be perfect for maintaining position on foot pegs during aggressive cornering, but it becomes dangerous when you need to paddle your bike through a parking lot or make quick direction changes in traffic. Reduced flexibility leads to more tip-over crashes and reduces your ability to recover from low-speed mistakes. Glove dexterity data shows similar problems. Competition gloves prioritize impact protection over fine motor control, reducing control feel by 40% compared to street-oriented designs. That might be acceptable on a track where you're focused solely on riding, but it becomes dangerous in street conditions where you need to operate turn signals, adjust mirrors, and react to constantly changing situations. The temperature mismatch creates additional problems. Perforated race leathers that work perfectly at track speeds become freezing cold during normal street riding. Solid leather designed for cooler track conditions turns into a sauna during stop-and-go traffic. You end up fighting your gear instead of focusing on the road. Matching protection level to actual riding style starts with honest self-assessment. Commuters need gear that works in traffic, provides weather protection, and allows normal movement. Weekend riders need versatile equipment that handles varying conditions. Track day enthusiasts can justify specialized gear because they actually use it in appropriate conditions. The key is buying gear for the riding you do 90% of the time, not the riding you dream about doing. You can always rent or borrow specialized equipment for track days or long tours, but your daily gear should match your daily reality, not your weekend fantasies. Mistake 7. The replacement trap, dead gear walking. Impact testing reveals the single most dangerous misconception in motorcycling, that gear can survive multiple crashes. The brutal reality is that most protective equipment is designed for one-time use. That helmet that saved your life in last year's crash, it's now a decorative shell that'll split like an eggshell if you go down again. Dr. Tom Maynard, who's analyzed helmet performance for over 20 years at the Snell Memorial Foundation, puts it bluntly, helmets are like parachutes. Once they've done their job, they're done. The EPS foam that absorbs impact energy crushes permanently during crashes. It might look fine from the outside, but the internal structure has been compromised beyond repair. The hidden damage problem extends far beyond helmets. Crash testing at the Motorcycle Safety Foundation found that armor loses up to 70% of its protective capability after a single impact, even when no visible damage occurs. The cellular structure of impact-absorbing materials changes permanently under stress. Your knee armor that saved your joint in a low-side crash can no longer handle the forces it was designed for. Leather and textile materials face similar degradation. Abrasion testing shows that once protective materials have slid across asphalt, their tear resistance drops dramatically. The fibers that prevented road rash in your first crash become weak points that'll fail instantly in your next one. That jacket with the proud battle scar from your track day, it's now got a built-in failure point waiting to tear wide open. The economic reality is harsh but clear. Testing data from the European motorcycle gear industry shows that replacement costs average $1,500 after a serious crash. Compare that to average medical bills for motorcycle injuries, over $40,000 for moderate trauma, and over $200,000 for severe cases. Your gear replacement cost is literally pocket change compared to what failed protection will cost you. Here's the inspection routine that could save your life. After any crash or significant impact, retire your helmet immediately regardless of visible damage. X-ray analysis shows internal foam damage occurs even in drops that seem minor. For other gear, look for stretched stitching, compressed armor, abraded surfaces, or any structural deformation. If you can see impact evidence, the protection is compromised. Storage inspection matters just as much as crash damage. Gear degrades over time even without impacts. Helmet manufacturers recommend replacement every 5 years maximum because foam and shell materials deteriorate with age and exposure. Leather becomes brittle, synthetics lose flexibility, and armor materials break down at the molecular level. The signs your gear has exceeded safe service life are often subtle. Helmet foam that compresses easily under finger pressure has lost impact absorption. Leather that feels stiff or shows surface cracking won't provide abrasion protection. Armor that shows stress marks or feels softer than when new has degraded beyond safe limits. Here's your reality check. Gear only works when properly fitted, maintained, and used within limits. The crash test data doesn't lie. 40% of gear failures happen because riders wear equipment wrong, not because the equipment is bad. Your expensive gear becomes worthless the moment you compromise on fit, positioning, or maintenance. Your immediate action plan starts now. Audit your current gear using the fit and positioning tests we covered. Check your helmet for proper snugness and head shape compatibility. Verify your armor sits correctly in both riding and crash positions. Inspect everything for wear, damage, and age-related degradation. Stop making these 7 deadly mistakes, and your gear might actually save you when physics takes over. Subscribe for more real-world safety advice that could keep you alive out there.